Chief.
How you doing?
I am good. How are you? Oh. Where did I get a quote?
Hey, doing good.
Quote. Okay.
Chief, listen.
Good evening. We'll call to order the City of Douglasville's City Council regular meeting for tonight, which is Tuesday, September the 7th. Our invocation will be done by Pastor Scott Brown, Senior Pastor of Douglasville First United Methodist Church, and after that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by the Mayor Pro Tem. Please come forward, Pastor Brown. We appreciate you coming this evening. My children went to First United Methodist. It's a great place. Yes, sir.
Going strong.
Yes, sir. Preschool.
Thank you for the honor of addressing you tonight and having prayer with you. I just want to read you one quick thing that I wrote to my congregation this week, and I think you'll find it relevant. That our entire existence has changed. One can argue that some things have actually changed for the good over this past year, but that doesn't negate the power and effect of change. Change in and of itself is exhausting. A new job, a new place to live, a new relationship, all good things, but they all take a lot of emotional, physical, and spiritual energy. Now imagine everything changing all at once. And that's basically what we've been through for the past year and a half. How we work, how we shop, how we do family time, how we worship, how we think, how we dress, how we do everything has changed. And we're tired. I know you're tired as leaders. So I want to give you this good word from Isaiah 40. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary. Young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. It's my prayer for all of us tonight and for you as our leaders is that a renewed energy and strength in the Lord, that you find rest in your spirits, in your bodies, and in your minds, and that God renew you in ways to lead this city in beautiful ways and powerful ways. In the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen.
Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us in the pledge, and Pastor Brown, we appreciate the invocation, and tell Miss Jean I said hello. I don't know if she's still doing the bell choir or not. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Now we'll move on to announcements and presentations. We don't have any, so our next agenda item is number 5, is the minutes. So I'll open the floor for minutes to approve the minutes of the legislative work session of August the 12th, 2021, and the public hearing for the millage rate and regular meeting of August 16th, 2021. I'll open the floor for a motion to approve the minutes. Thank you so much, Councilman Adams. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. Do we have any questions or comments from the council member? Any corrections on the minutes? Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Item 21-428 is approved. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I will go over the rules and regulations and protocol for the meeting. I was getting ahead of myself. I appreciate you. I'd like to welcome you to the Douglasville City Council regular meeting. This is a voting meeting. This is a City Council regular meeting of agenda items where official action will be taken tonight on the items that were discussed at the legislative work session last Thursday. If the business you're here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates section for you to discuss your business. And you have 5 minutes to address us with any business that's germane to the city of Douglasville or potential business of the city of Douglasville. Just a few protocol issues, and then we can get right into the agenda and move on to the next item as I went before and had the minutes approved. So I would ask that you please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. Only one person speaking at a time. Please do not react or talk in the audience when you come to the podium. I'll remind you that we're only required to accept public comments on zoning matters. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, iPad or such, please put those in silent mode or turn those off until the meeting is over, so they will not be disruptive. The agenda items will be handled as the following. The committee chairperson will read the agenda item, then that person or representative for that agenda item will come forward and make his or her presentation. Myself and council members will possibly ask for clarifying questions if we have any additional questions that we did not ask last week. Comments from citizens and delegates, we ask that you can come forward and please bring only new information. There's 20 minutes for those in favor of the item, 20 minutes for those in opposition, and each person has 5 minutes. When you approach the podium, please give us your name and address for the record. There are cards that you should have filled out on the desk outside, and you bring that card forward and hand it to Ms. Candace Jackson, our Assistant City Clerk. After that, please give us your name and address again. This is not a question and answer or debate format. We're just here to receive your information, deliberate, and make a decision. If you have any printed material, we ask that you would please present that to our Assistant City Clerk, and we'll be happy to take that from you. If you are not responding or making any presentations on agenda items, again, you can come during the comments from citizens and delegates. Now we'll move forward with the continuing with the agenda. We're at item number 6 now, and it's the consent agenda. So I'll open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Thank you so much, Councilman Adams. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second, please? Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. So all those in favor of approving item 21-432, if you don't have any questions, any concerns or questions as relates to this item? Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The consent agenda is approved. We'll move on to item number 7, which is Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business at this time under the Economic Development Committee.
Thank you, sir. Finance Committee, chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight under Finance.
Thank you, sir. Housing and Community Affairs Committee, chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Danley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight under Housing and Community Affairs Committee.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 11 let's see if that is correct, Personnel and Organization Committee, and that is Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item in personnel organization tonight. Authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Municipal Court Associate Judge Melanie Bradley Davis to fix the terms and compensation of her service. Ms. Woodward?
Okay, thank you, Chairman Watts. This item, it's pretty self-explanatory, but the terms of Associate Judge Davis's service, compensation for her service is $330 per day. Each day she has to take over the municipal court duties for Judge Rollins. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Any council members, mayor, anybody have any, we kind of discussed this the other night.
I don't have any.
No questions or comments? All right, thank you. Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 21-424.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Davis. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 21-424. Do we have any additional comments or questions from the council members? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 21-424 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's all we had tonight under personnel and organization.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Watts. We'll move on then to item number 12, which is Planning and Development Committee, and that's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We
You're
have
welcome.
two items tonight under Planning and Development. The first is to consider a request for approval of a development plan for Lynch Road Industrial for 22.17 acres at 1340 Mount Vernon Road, located in land lot 715, District 18, Section 2, parcels 5, 8, and 15. Plans dated July 6, 2021. Application by LBA Realty Fund 7 LLC. Mr. Anderson?
Good evening. Staff doesn't have any new information related to this case at this time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Are there anything that the applicant might want to add to their application presentation from Thursday night? I know that we have heard from them in that meeting, and we've had comments and questions, but if there is any other information, we'd like to hear from you.
Thank you. My name is Baxter Russell with Dillard Cellars, 1776 Peachtree Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30309. Here tonight on behalf of LBA Realty, of course, requesting your approval for our development plan so that we can proceed with our permitting. You saw our presentation last week. I just wanted to take a brief second to reiterate this was approved for rezoning to light industrial in April. The plan that we're presenting is substantially similar to that plan. The only change that has been made is to the drives on Lynch Road. There are no new additional drives on Mount Vernon. Again, I want to stress and reiterate our continued work in cooperation with the neighbors on Mount Vernon. One of those neighbors is here tonight, Mr. Cameron Cook. I'm not sure if he wishes to speak, but I did want to, in this public forum, say thank you to him and his neighbors and appreciate their work with us on this project. Again, happy to answer any questions, but we would request that you follow staff's recommendation and approve our development plan.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'll open the floor to council or Madam Mayor if you have any further questions or comments concerning the item that is before. Yes, go ahead, Councilwoman Miller.
Thank you, Councilman Adams. I just wanted to thank you guys. I did follow up with your neighbors as I did before, and I just wanted to see how the process was going for them. And I was really happy to hear that in light of course, the development, that they were pleased with these steps that you guys are taking to take care of them as best you can. And I was also notified of the issues that you guys have had trying to get in touch with the county DOT, and so we are going to do what we can to make that contact for you guys as well this week. So, thank you.
That would be great, thank you. Yeah, we've reached out to the county, as you've said. I'm happy to continue that dialogue with them to try to improve that area as we can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
and
you.
that was all I had, Councilman Adams.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Estes. Go ahead, Councilman Estes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to reiterate what Ms. Miller just said. And thank you all, Mr. Russell and LBA reps, for being so responsive to the community. That helps us do our jobs a lot better, but it ensures a successful project and happy neighbors. And that's what we're all about. So thank you. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also want to reiterate, I appreciate what your team has done in terms of working with the city and staff, and especially with the neighbors. That's a very important aspect of developing any project. I still do take issue, though. I think that though you're trying very hard to disguise the building and its presence with the landscaping, I guess time is going to tell. I'm not sure that I buy into the fact that it's going to cover the building as well as you say it will. And I still take issue with something that I said several months ago when we first discussed this project. I do have an issue with locating it literally on the doorstep of one of the most popular state parks in Georgia. I think it simply is the wrong location for this type of development. So that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Madam Mayor?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to reiterate, as everyone has already said, we've given you the cupcake, icing, whipped cream, and now the cherry, that we appreciate you all working with the community, and we appreciate the community being able to work with the developer as well. So that just helps us to have a more cohesive development and help everyone try to have a win-win situation. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, anyone else? Yes, go ahead, Councilman Watts.
Although, when we were going through this process, I did have reservations like Mayor Pro Tem Miller about its location so close to the state park. It was interesting during the process that we found out that the state park preferred this type of development, ironically, as opposed to a subdivision. And there were some reasons given at the time. So, that was interesting to find out, and the fact that y'all were in communication with the state park and everything was encouraging. And appreciate y'all's working with the folks that live over there. I think that's important for any development that's going to be right across the street from folks in their homes. So anyway, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is there anyone else, Council, Madam Mayor, that had a comment? Anyone? I know that Mr. Russell mentioned that there was someone in the audience. I'll break protocol here. This is not a public hearing, but would give opportunity if any individual would like to speak concerning this. We're speaking of the development plan, is what we are considering here tonight. And if you would come forward and give us your name and address for the record, you may need to fill out a document with the clerk afterwards, but we would welcome you to speak.
Thank you, sir. My name is Cameron Cook. I'm a neighbor at 1855 Jenny Lane, directly across the street from the development. I do want to express my appreciation to LBA Realty. They have been a good neighbor and done what they said they're going to do so far. I did miss the working session last week and missed the presentation, but they did coordinate a neighborhood meeting where they presented to us, and they brought the design team out, the contractor, the civil engineer, and the architect out and show us the plans. So all that after business hours too, so I really appreciate them coming out and doing that. To Nicole's point, there needs to be coordination with the county about Lynch Road and Mount Vernon Road. Those roads are very poor shape. They're very narrow. I don't think they can handle truck traffic. LBA and the design team have already taken entrances off of Mount Vernon and moved them to Lynch Road, but there needs to be further coordination with the county. Maybe you guys can provide political pressure on them to engage with the design team. But other than that, we don't have any other concerns. I think LBA has done a good job to address those through this process. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Any others? Yes,
Mr.
Coach
Chairman,
Watts, go ahead.
just real quick, and I would like to echo the sentiments of our last speaker, and I would like to see us work with the county. Of course, it is their road, but I think there should be zero truck traffic of anybody's trucks being on that road, going past the state park. It is very narrow, and I don't know what can be done about that. It's in the county's hands, but I would love to see that enforced, no truck traffic.
Mr. Chairman, I promised to talk to Madam Chair tomorrow, and I'll follow up with everyone. I'll
Thank you,
email
Madam
you.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If there are no other comments, then we'll go forward, and I'll make a motion that we approve item 21-423.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved in second, moved by Chairman Adams and second by Councilmember Estes to approve item 21-423. Do we have any additional comments or questions from council members? Thank you so much. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Thank you. The ayes have it, a majority. So 21-423 is approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll move on to item B. Consider a request for approval of a development plan for Riverside Office Distribution Development for 26 acres at Riverside Parkway and Commerce Way, located land lots 156, 161, 162, and 168, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 30. Plans dated August 18, 2021. Application by East Group Properties, LP. Mr. Anderson.
Brian Anderson, zoning administrator, 6701 Church Street. We do have some additional information based on last Thursday's workshop and the feedback that the applicants received from council. The developer submitted voluntarily 3 additional conditions.
Would you like to read those into the record, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, sir.
That would help us, and it would also help
Okay.
any motion.
The first condition is shift 2 entry features to the corners of the building and add glass above the entry canopy to add natural light. This also gives the look of a 2-story office area and gives architectural relief to the concrete panels similar to other photos shown at the meeting on last Thursday. Add more reveals, the second condition, add more reveals into the concrete tilt panels with paint accent to create more interest. The third condition, add more steps across the front elevation, both in height and depth, to break up the linear look of the building from Riverside Parkway. Those are the 3 new conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. And these are points that the applicant, East Group Properties, LP, has voluntarily came in with in addition to that list of those conditions that we were given on Thursday, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is the applicant with us that would like to make any additional comment concerning this? Please give us your name and address for the record. I see Mr. Fowler.
Post Office Box 49, Douglasville, Georgia. We heard well what the council said last week. We went to the drawing board over the weekend, came up with those add-on suggestions. I mentioned them to a couple of you. Hope that provides the elevations that will be what you're looking for in that area. Mr. Coleman, Mr. Ratliff are able to add to that if you'd wish. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. I'll open the floor for any comments or questions from council or Madam Mayor concerning this item before we go forward. Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to thank East Group Properties for listening and being amenable to adjust your plans and make it more aesthetically pleasing. You had beautiful renderings initially, and we just appreciate you taking us to the dance and bring something that we like as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Yes, sir. Did you have a comment?
No, if you had any questions for me, John Coleman, East Group Properties, 325 Eppington
Okay.
Drive, Atlanta, Georgia.
Stand by 1 second. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, did you have a comment?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
I am tremendously appreciative of of you guys working with us and the suggestions that were made last week. It's nice that they see that they were all considered and being incorporated. If I'd known it was that easy, I would have added a few more things, like, no. I'm not sure what yet, but I could have come up with a few ideas. Ionic columns and LED lights. And no.
Moving right along.
No, it's too much.
No, but I appreciate your cooperation and your willingness to make this a much better building for all of us, because that's what, it ultimately becomes a part of the community. It's not just your building, it's all of our buildings.
And that's our goal as a long-term owner. We want to partner with the city and be a long-term owner and put up quality product and development. So I think that's a consistent theme. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, Councilman Estes.
Again, just to reiterate, we really do appreciate you guys' willingness to work with us. especially so quickly. And I look forward to that continuing as this development progresses. Welcome to the neighborhood, I hope.
Anyone else?
I have a comment. Just wanted to say thank you so much for your commitment and your professionalism. This is going to be very exciting. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, you had something else?
Hey, Mr. Chair, I just want to make one last point, in seriousness. What I really appreciate about the fact is that what people sometimes don't realize is, the owners can come and go. And I'm appreciative of the fact that your intent is to maintain long-term ownership. But what folks don't sometimes realize is once a building is built, we're stuck with it. And how important that is where that thing becomes a part of the community for a long term, 50, 100 years maybe, even if it's built well. And it's so important that clients, that developers and builders and contractors understand what they're doing to a community when they construct something. And when you build a building well, it really becomes a significant part of that community, just as much as any of the parks, the streets, the institutions of that community. You're part of that, and that's what's so critical. And thank you again for what you're doing here. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Anyone else?
Right here.
Go ahead, Councilwoman Miller.
Thank you. I wanted to thank you guys for listening to the suggestions that were made last week and making some necessary changes to make a development that the residents in that area can be proud of.
Thank you.
All right. Moving forward then, if there are no other questions or comments, I would make a motion then that we approve item 21-422.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve item 21-422 with all the conditions that were read and the new add-ons as well.
Second.
Thank you. Second by Mayor Pro Tem. Do we have any additional comments or questions from council members? Any more deliberation? Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving item 21-422, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 21-422 is unanimously approved. Congratulations.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's all that we have tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We'll move on then to item number 13, which is Public Improvement and Beautification Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. 14, Public Relations Committee, chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. PR Committee has no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
At this time, no business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir. Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight. Recreation, Culture, and Tourism.
Thank you, sir. Technology Committee, chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business at this time under the Technology Committee.
Thank you, sir. Transportation Committee, chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No business under transportation tonight.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other business to come before committees tonight from council members? Thank you. I don't see any. Then we'll move on to updates from city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Staff attorney, Ms. Lynn Woodward.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Our chief of police, that's Chief Gary Sparks.
Yes.
Hi, the crowd goes wild. You have anything, Chief?
No business.
Good to see you. Our city manager, Ms. Marsha Hampton.
Yes, ma'am. The only thing I have is just to remind you all, over the next 2 weeks, I will be going out visiting departments as I've done in the past. So today, I visit with the police department, the civilian staff, at 11 o'clock. Some of you may want to join us at roll call at 5:45 next week. The schedule is in the information that Kristen sent all to you all in your highlights. So if you want to see that schedule, we do have it. So you all are welcome to attend any of those meetings. Those who've been there before, it's open, casual. Any questions the staff wants to ask us, anything's on the table.
Was that AM or PM?
5:45 a.m.
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 I'll do the afternoon
Ms.
shift.
Hampton, you said you did the police department this morning?
Just the civilian staff, with the court staff at 11 o'clock. That one that we traditionally do during the day.
But the 5:45 is yet to come?
Yes, that's next week. I know some of you all like to come to roll call. So if you look at that email from Kristen, you'll see the schedule coming up. Yeah, and that's all I have.
Thank you so much, City Manager. Do we have any staff reports?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Okay, thank you. And now we've come to the portion, comments from citizens and delegates. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to approach us and have any comments, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to talk to us about any business. Yes, sir.
My name's
Good evening.
Nathaniel Paul Adams. I live at 8454 Duckins Street, Douglasville. I'm a lifelong resident,
Yes, sir.
and I've lived at that address for 53 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the year that the post office on Campbellton Street was built, they put a storm drain down through my yard. The city did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had problems with it lately. I got a sinkhole right out of the back door of my house, and I want the city to come down and see what they can do about fixing it, whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like for y'all to come back and get back in touch with me
Mm-hmm.
and let me know what your intentions are.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried doing this before,
Yes, sir.
and y'all never came back and made any kind of arrangements to do anything. You never said you wasn't gonna do it, or you was gonna do it. I wanna know what's going on.
Yes, sir. Tell me
And,
your last name again.
Adams,
Adams. Oh, Mr. Adams, I know you. You look different with your mask on. I said you look different with your mask on.
oh,
It's okay. Yes, sir.
Well,
I know you. I know you. Yes, sir.
anyway, I just, I need to know what y'all's intentions are, and I'd like to know as soon as possible. Because this is a safety hazard in my yard, and I want it taken care of. The pipe belongs to the city, and I want something done about it.
Okay, so Mr. Adams, what I will do is talk to WSA. You know, we turned over all of our
WSA has
stormwater.
got no intentions of doing anything. I've been to them.
Well, they've received some resources, and we have a program now to help private citizens, the Water and Sewer Authority does. We receive money from the federal government. So the city doesn't have the stormwater program anymore, or the water system program. We turned it over to Water and Sewer Authority. So we can't legally touch the pipes. So the entity that handles that for us is WSA. So I will call you tomorrow after I talk to Mr. Gil Scharouse and let you know, to have someone come out or what WSA is going to do.
Well, last time I had problems, I left word with the mayor.
Yes,
to
sir.
call me, and I never heard from the mayor.
You talking about me?
That's right,
Oh, no.
yes.
Okay,
2
well,
years
I
ago.
apologize. How long ago? I remember talking with you, Mr. Adams. Didn't we talk?
I've talked to Mark, he was gonna
Yes, sir.
take care of it, but he was gonna handle it for me, and I hadn't heard back from him about it either.
Well, we probably turned it over to Water and Sewer Authority, and I ask you to forgive me. Maybe we dropped the ball. But I will call the WSA and have someone contact you and make certain that they contact you. If it's a three-way
They
phone.
contacted me before and said they wasn't gonna do anything.
Well, now they have some resources, and they have a program to help private citizens with water issues. So there is a criteria, but we have to, discuss that with Water and Sewer Authority.
Well, how long ago was that? This has been in the past few weeks that I talked to the WSA.
It's new, and I want to say within 30 days or so, City Manager?
I do know, Madam Mayor, Mr. Scharouse has provided me some written documentation that he's given to Mr. Adams. I can
Okay.
share that with all of you all. If you want to address Mr. Adams formally about your recommendations or your opinion, your stance from a few years ago, I will get with legal this week to provide some written information that we can send over to him. But I do have that follow-up from WSA.
So this is recent for WSA?
This is recent as of last week.
Oh, this was last week, Mr. Adams. I didn't know that. Well, I rescind that I'm going to call tomorrow if they have addressed you last week, and we'll just follow up with the city manager and respond to you. And I will call you or we'll talk and see what legal recommends.
Madam
Yes, sir.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I could interject there, Mr. Adams and I had a telephone conversation about 10 days ago, I would assume, and he had contacted me concerning this. I have asked city staff, our city manager, to provide information from the Water Sewer Authority and then to make a report concerning this issue to him.
Yes, sir.
But that's the reason I have not responded. I have not received that information, or I have received the information, but I have not received the report back from our city manager. So I don't know what has changed as far as potential help from the Water Sewer Authority, but I know that in the past, I believe what Mr. Adams is speaking of is several years ago, the council did not vote to go forward and take any action to do anything on his property,
Yes, sir.
which meant inaction.
Yeah, because it was private property.
Thank you. Thank you
So-
for being here, Mr. Adams. Appreciate
Thank you,
coming.
Mr. Adams, and I apologize again, not following up. I'm not sure what
I know
happened.
they keep saying this pipe is on private property, we can't come on private property, but the pipe belongs to the city. They put it in. They put it in the year the post office was built on Hamilton Street. And they came down and repaired it one time,
Yes, sir.
shortly after they put it in, maybe a few years, because it ruptured, and they said it corroded.
Yes, sir.
And they did come down and fix it then.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, I hadn't had that many problems, but I did have one a couple of years ago, and they refused to come down there. And short of getting legal action,
Right.
I decided I'd just fill the hole up,
Yes.
and I did. But I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm 78 years old, and I'm not gonna shovel dirt for
Yeah.
the city.
Yes, sir.
I paid taxes for 53 years on that house I live at,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm at the end of my rope,
Yes, sir.
so to speak.
Yes, sir. We apologize for the inconvenience, and again, WSA adopted all the water and pipes and everything from the city now, so it's, but water and sewer, and we'll figure out what's going on, and I will, since we do have a response from the WSA, the Water and Sewer Authority, the city manager and I will speak, and we'll make certain that you have a follow-up conversation. Thank you for coming in. You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Adams. We have any other comments from citizens and delegates? Yes, ma'am, please come forward. Give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Cindy Welch at
Yes, ma'am.
3002 Concord Way, Douglasville, Georgia. And I'm here to thank you from when I was here the last time, talking about the property at Concourse Parkway, when you came out of Academy Sports driveway, that you could not see a thing. Grass was, I mean, this high.
Yes, sir.
And I was over
Yes,
there
ma'am.
last Tuesday, and it has been completely mowed and cleaned up, and I want to thank the city for their timely manner in doing that. Makes it much safer for my grandsons.
Oh, well, thank you, Ms. Welch. You like, when the 10 got healed and only 2 came back and said, thank you, we appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Welch. Any other comments from citizens and delegates? Thank you. Well, I don't see any. If we don't have any other business and we don't have any comments from citizens and delegates, then this meeting is adjourned.